What is up, guys? It's been a while. Bobgar here, and we're doing some 10 tickets modern again. We're looking at a 10 tickets modern white-blue polymorph list. You can see a few of the cards right here, and I'm going to jump into the list. Let's start off with the combo. The combo is basically there's only one creature in the whole deck. It's Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. It's also the most expensive card in the deck, but I think it makes up over half the price. And then there's a card Polymorph. You destroy a target creature on your side of the board. It can't be regenerated. You actually can do it to your opponent too if you really want to. Usually you do it to your own side. You reveal cards from the top of the owner's library until you get a creature card, and you put that creature card onto the battlefield. So ideally we're going to have some creatures out, even though we don't have creature spells. We're going to destroy one of those creatures with Polymorph, and then Polymorph is going to put Emrakul the Aeon's Torn into the battlefield, even though we only have one copy of it. That means we'll always hit it off of Polymorph. All right, so that's the combo, and then let's look at the digging for that combo. We don't have a whole lot of dig. We're really only running two cards. Opt is a scry one, draw one. Pretty powerful. It's also nice that it's instant speed. We do have quite a few instant speed spells in this deck, so it's nice to be able to operate at instant speed when we can. And Chart a Course. A lot of times we will be attacking with a creature so that we can draw two cards, but it also is very useful when we have Emrakul stuck in our hand, since once it's stuck in our hand we can't hit it with Polymorph. This allows us to, we can play this before we attack, or if we just don't attack with creatures, we can just play it. Draw two and then discard one. We can discard Emrakul, and then Emrakul will get shuffled back into our deck so we can Polymorph for it later. So it's very good for both of those reasons, both as just a good draw card and then also a good oh crap button if Emrakul gets stuck in our hand, which shouldn't happen very often because there's only a one of, but it will happen occasionally. And then the deck kind of has two halves. It has that combo, which we just saw. It really only takes up 5 card slots total. I mean, those other two search cards are a little bit about the combo, but they're not super important for it. And then other than the combo, we're basically running a fair creature package, a fair token creature package. So lots of token makers. 4 Gather the Townsfolk, 4 Raise the Alarm. Obviously, we want to hit these on curve a lot of the time. 4 Midnight Harness, we usually able to play that on 3. Puts out 2 1/1 flyers. And then 4 Spectral Processions. We usually won't be able to hit that till 4, just because our mana is a little wonky, but sometimes we'll be able to hit it on 3. It's very good, whether or not we hit it on 3. Create 3 1/1 white spirit creatures with flying. So that's kind of our token creature package. We'll put out more creatures than our opponent. It'll both allow us to stabilize the board until we can get our combo off. Obviously, it'll give us something to sack for our combo. And yeah, we can also just often win fair with this. And so then some more synergy cards. One thing you'll notice, right now we have one creature spell in our deck. Literally every other card is a non-creature spell. That means Myth Realized gets +1/+1 basically for every spell we play. It's a enchantment, costs 1 to activate. You can that turns into a creature with power and toughness equal to the number of counters on it, so the number of spells other than that you've cast basically. And it also has the ability to pay 3 mana to put an extra counter on it. Not usually relevant. It's mostly relevant because it's another threat that's a non-creature spell, so we can put it in the deck. Almost all our spells are non-creatures, so they almost all trigger it. And in a pinch, at 5 mana, you can activate it and then instantly polymorph it to combo off 2, especially if your opponent's playing things like sweepers to get all your tokens off the board. This guy's pretty nice to use as a polymorph target. 4 Intangible Virtues. As we saw, we were running a lot of token creatures, and Intangible Virtue makes those token creatures much, much better. They become 2/2s and then 3/3s with Vigilance. It's just really strong in the deck. And 2 Mana Leak just for a little bit of extra interaction. Not super important to the deck, but it's nice to have that little bit of counter spell, especially if you know your opponent's playing a lot and you can get that and polymorph in your hand. A lot of times it can stop kill spells and things like that in response to polymorph, because that will counter polymorph, or even just throwing counter spells onto it. And then lands. So that's basically the whole deck. Lands, pretty simple. We're a little heavier in white than we are in blue, so we run 10 plains, 7 islands, and then 4 Nimbus Mazes to usually tap for either. Alright, and that's that. Going on to the sideboard. We run 2 Ghost Quarters, 2 Tormod's Crypt for the usual reasons. Ghost Quarters gets rid of Tron lands. Tormod's Crypt gets rid of graveyards if we have to fight against graveyards. 4 Dispel. Dispel is pretty important because, like I said, there's a lot your opponent can do to stop the polymorph combo. They can counterspell you, which Dispel helps against, obviously. They can kill spell you, which again, Dispel helps against. They're only going to be able to use instant speed things at the time where you're polymorphing. So basically, a spell deals with all the things that we really need to deal with. I mean, basically, that's the most common case for us, is they're trying to shut down our combo and we need to deal with it instantly. Fragmentize is important. Polymorph doesn't have as much hate against it as things like Graveyards, but Grafdigger's Cage certainly does get us, so that can come in to destroy some Grafdigger's Cages. I should note, if Grafdigger's Cage is in play, Polymorph still isn't totally terrible, because it is a 4-mana destroy one of your opponent's creatures. Negate, just another good spell like Dispel. Obviously, it's a little bit more versatile and can be more important if your opponent's doing super broken things on their turn, like if they're playing, I don't know, Ad Nauseam or something. It can be very good. And then Timely Reinforcements has a bunch of matchups it's relatively good against. Obviously, any go wide deck that's going to go wider than yours is pretty good against. It can help you rebuild really well, and obviously it's also good against those kind of burn decks since you gain a bunch of life from it. So I like Timely Reinforcements in the sideboard quite a bit in those few matchups. And that's pretty much the deck. It's about 1150 online, so right around 10, a little bit above. It was a little less yesterday. It must have gone up by 50 cents, but you know, basically, like I said, Emrakul is almost all of that price. Emrakul is pretty cheap online because of the promo version of it, but it is still makes up almost all the price. And then all the other cards are very, very inexpensive, which is kind of nice. In paper, it is a little bit pricey. It's not, you know, it's still a budget deck by modern standards at $75, but it's definitely up there again. Like about half of that price is the Emrakul, and that's really what pushes the price of this deck. And you can use other things. I've run the deck with Progenitus and with some of the other Eldrazi Titans. Even Iona is not a terrible target, and some of those are a little bit cheaper in paper and online. So you definitely can run the deck like that. It's still pretty good, but Emrakul is definitely the best target. And you really only need one target, especially given that you're running the Charter Courses. I sometimes like to run 2 targets, but here I think 1 is enough because the Charter Course gives us a good outlet to discard Emrakul if it does get stuck in hand. And that's the deck. I don't think I wrote any more slides. I didn't go over matchups this week. General matchup issue is the deck is stronger against decks that are not very controlling. So aggro decks and things like that. Usually you can gum up the board enough to live to turn 4, and if you can live to turn 4, you can put out an Emrakul, and then if you get the Emrakul out, you'll usually win. It has a little bit more trouble with like hardcore control, just because they have counters for your polymorph or have kill spells for your creatures, and likewise just those decks that just run 4 terminates, you know, 4 copies of a lot of removal spells, like 4 terminates, 4 fatal push, 4 lightning bolt. You're gonna have a little trouble getting your creatures to survive to polymorph them. Like I said, that's when the dispels come in from the sideboard if you want to combo off, or you can just play it like a fair game and say, well, especially the ones that are not hardcore control are not quite as good against the token plan, so sometimes you can just win with the token plan. So yeah, that's the deck. I think it's pretty sweet. I like it a lot. I'm going to jump into some games and play it for you. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, Bobgar here. I just really wanted to quickly say, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you enjoy my content in general and would like to see more of it, subscribe. I'll be coming out with more content in the future. And please leave me comments and let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, both in terms of production and in terms of my play and my deck building and all that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.